as against our usual press releases. We just finished a year, and we thought we should recap and then set the mood for the new year. And it's also to give ourselves a clue as to how APC wants to go about the remaining weeks before the election. So I will read a prepared message, and then we can do questions after that. Okay. Let me, on behalf of the All Progressives Congress, welcome Nigerians to the new year. I do this with great enthusiasm, driven by the tremendous progress we have made as a country under this administration. The year 2018 was significant in many ways. Importantly, we witnessed in this past year the shameful attempt by the political predators to launch themselves back into reckoning. Those who were roundly rejected by Nigerians in 2015 for their grievous crimes of corruption, impunity, and maladministration once again struggled to rise up from the dungeon the people of this country had dumped them. They were fierce and reckless in their wicked attempt to return to power to continue their primitive appropriation of our commonwealth for themselves and their immediate family. The actions from these elements, who have raped our nation for close to 2 decades, were disruptive to the course of progress being vigorously pursued by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration. The year 2018 particularly was a tough year for the APC government, as we had to confront the monsters who have found their ways into the ruling party during the merger in 2014, pretending to have cured themselves of their insatiable greed and callous, selfish disposition. These enemies of our country found out that the beats have changed, and their strenuous efforts to steer the APC administration towards their ignominious ways, as they practiced under the People's Democratic Party, PDP, had become impossible under President Buhari. Predictably, the forces of evil finally gravitated towards themselves and are now ensconced in their wicked nest called the PDP. Unfortunately, they did a lot of damage to our determined efforts in the last 3.5 years by constituting themselves into a stumbling block, using their vantage position in government in conjunction with their associates outside of government, who have been deploying their ill-gotten wealth to pervert justice, create a state of insecurity, propagate falsehood, and promote dissent. It was a callous strategy designed to pull the wool over the eyes of the people of this country. As frustrating as their activities were in 2018, they met more than their match in President Muhammadu Buhari. Their Dubai-made strategy has collapsed like a pack of cards. The plan was to recreate the 2014-2015 scenario when APC pilloried them for their crimes, which wokened the electorate to the reality of the disaster we were headed under the PDP administration. PDP, led by their discredited presidential candidate, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, paid huge sums of money to some foreign con men in Dubai who posed as strategists. They began to spawn daily fake news and make spurious and unsubstantiated allegations against our president, the family members of our president, the vice president, the APC national chairman, notable government officials, and public institutions, just to deceive Nigerians. Their strategists did not tell them that such will not work when the allegations cannot be proven. Unlike in 2015, when the APC allegations were based on facts, which have been validated by revelations upon revelations of acts committed during the inglorious 16 years of PDP rule, the opposition's disgraceful recourse to false alarm as a campaign strategy this time is a wrong approach. Facts are sacred. Falsehood, no matter how fleet-footed, will be overtaken by the truth in no time. The reality has dawned on the fortune seekers in PDP that it is not possible to tag a label of corruption on President Buhari as a demarketing strategy. Neither is it possible to campaign based on issues of governance, as the achievements of this administration have shown. It is obvious that the PDP has found itself in a fix. Many in the leadership of the main opposition party are finding it difficult to identify with a character like Atiku and with many of the charlatans running the PDP campaign who are unsellable. It is worthy of note that a few of the PDP leaders with some residual credibility are battling with their conscience as they are increasingly becoming uncomfortable with the level of immorality that underlines the PDP's politics. Anyone with a modicum of decency cannot be proud of the odious reputation of PDP. When this is added to the fact that the PDP campaign has failed to present any program whatsoever to Nigerians, we can see clearly why the party's campaign has become a stillborn. Like a lion, PDP roared, but it didn't last. It has joyfully ended up as the bleating of a goat. Perhaps the pun is intended, as PDP is actually a goat that spent 16 years eating our yams. What has the PDP to offer Nigeria? Or rather, why does the party want to return to power? It is simply to return Nigeria to the past. The past when our collective wealth was being stolen by a few wicked elites. The past when monies meant for the development of our economy were being pocketed. The past when no road, no railway, and no power plant were ever completed, even though the huge sums of money were being allocated and released every year. The past when labor was stripped of dignity, when the harder you worked, the poorer you became. The past when people with no defined business raked in billions of dollars from our economy, acquiring mansions as if they were buying shoes they never had while growing up. The past when our country had become the butt of a joke amongst the Committee of Nations. The past when dubious characters were acquiring fleet of private jets. It is heartwarming to see the PDP campaign grassland before it reached any threatening altitude. It has become apparent that PDP is technically out of the race before the elections. Start considering the level of disdain and apathy being demonstrated by the voters across the country towards the party. As the ruling party on a rescue mission, we call on all well-meaning people of this country to keep the faith with this administration. The graphs are on the positive upward swing. President Buhari is laying a solid foundation for a prosperous future. We must endure and be steadfast. We have already turned the corner, leaving behind the years of the locust under the PDP. We are headed towards a future that guarantees stability, economic buoyancy, world-class infrastructure, reward for hard work and for honesty, and the security of our nation. PDP remains our collective national vomit. We shall never go back to it. Thank you. Happy New Year to us all.